Hi, everybody. This is Penny De Los Santos, your host for Depth of Field podcast. I wanted to film one of the podcasts with you, just the two of us, and talk to you, all the listeners. Hopefully there's more than one of you. But if there is, welcome. I'm glad you're here. But I wanted to just take a minute and address and talk about why I'm starting the podcast. I think it's important to just give you guys some insight where I'm at and what led me to this space and what it's about for me, the whole journey of this podcast. And I did write down a few questions, so I'm going to refer to those notes. But I wanted to introduce myself. I'm a photographer. I'm a director. I've been working in the photography industry for 25 years. I started as a photojournalist. I was trained the first 10 years of my career with National Geographic magazine. I mostly shot culture, travel, place. National Geographic was all about geography. So you had to be very good at photographing landscapes, getting a sense of place, light, capturing like the right light and allowing that light to really convey a story was a big part of my foundation of photography. So place, culture, and just drilling in like good lighting and good composition. And then I, after, working with National Geographic for a while, I really got interested in more travel, more food culture. A magazine that I was working for, Saveur magazine, started sending me on these really incredible projects where I would photograph, people in other countries. They'd be travel stories about foodways, the way in which food and culture connect. And the stories around that. I was often in home kitchens and with a lot of home cooks, a lot of grandmas. I once did a story in Spain in this small village, and it was all these grandmothers. And the story was about how they all kind of remember their family traditions, and they're trying to pass them on to the community. And it was like one big night of just all these cazuelas, these casseroles, all these silver casserole pots, just hundreds of them. And the whole community came together and just ate, and these grandmothers danced. And it was just like this beautiful moment. And I kind of realized how incredible that was, that food tells a story. It passes down tradition. So many beautiful moments. And I like the idea of being around that and photographing that. And it didn't really feel like there was a lot of attention to it visually. And the magazine at the time that I was working with was doing that. And so I just dug in. I took every assignment they would give me and just went for it and loved it. And found myself in the middle of food shoots now and started to get more opportunities photographing books, doing advertisements, more commercial. I got an agent. So I started doing more high-end photography. And now, I'm kind of looking back. We had this massive pandemic. And I think it really changed the way photography happens. I think social medias was also a massive influence and is still that's still unfolding and will continue. But basically I wanted to start the podcast because I myself was feeling pretty lost and uninspired and not really hungry for the chase, for the photograph, And so in the midst of that, being in that space, I just thought, well, maybe I should try to figure out how to find inspiration. And maybe I should go on the search for inspiration, go on the search for creativity and try to find it again. And in that process, I thought, why don't I make a podcast about this? Why don't I turn it into a podcast and just try to find this creativity, this inspiration with anybody else that wants to come along. So that's why I started it, and that's what's happening here. I'm on this, pursuit to find inspiration and creativity, or at least how to unlock all of it. And I'm having conversations with people that have influenced my career, people that I've worked with, friends, people that I feel like have made it work, are making it work, are very successful, who've inspired me, who have personally, left their fingerprints on my life. And just having those conversations in front of all of you or with all of you, I think maybe there's some interesting information there for anybody else who might be in the same place and is also searching for some inspiration. So that's why I'm starting this podcast. It is it's a journey. It's a personal journey, and I'm inviting all of you to come with me. There you have it. All right, so I'm going to just go to some of the questions that I put together to just solidify why we're here, what we're doing, and hopefully make you guys all excited to come with me. So I told you how I started in photography in a nutshell. What do you photograph and why? Well, I photograph a lot of food culture. I love photographing lifestyle. I love photographing people. I don't always get the opportunity to do that, but that's what I love. People, place, location. These are all things that kind of get me excited about picking up the camera and thinking about composition and color, light. Why do I photograph? I photograph because it feels like a beautiful outlet. It feels like a way for me to express myself. I also love every person that I've met in the field, everybody that I've come in contact with, people that have just really kind of made me walk differently because I met them. So for me, photography does feel a little bit like community, but it's more in the sense who I'm photographing and how I get to see their life and what they're willing to share with me. It's feels like a very big privilege. And I love that part of photography, getting in someone's life and just trying to find that moment, the moment to photograph them. What makes them who they are? What are the elements of who they are? And having that kind of all come together, and then in like 30th of a second or an eighth of a second or 1/25th of a second, capturing them, and letting that just sort of be what that was all about, there's something about that I find very interesting, exciting, and very fulfilling. What inspires me? That's the next question I wrote down. What has inspired me in the past is travel, and I feel like that's stopped for me. Most of my travel happened because someone was sending me there for work. And I think that's kind of where I'm a little lost. I'm not feeling inspired because I haven't been traveling. And I think travel is a big source of inspiration for a lot of people. It's definitely for me. So travel inspires me. Culture, being in a place I've never been before. I also love just being around like traditions and a place that I've just never experienced. To me, that's just like, whoa, mind-blowing. So travel, culture inspires me. People inspire me. I love hearing about, I listen to a lot of audiobooks and I read, and I love reading about how people have overcome obstacles and, overcome situations in their life, hardships, and how they've had just the perseverance to just push through wherever they were and make it, turn their story around, find their pot of gold, discover what makes them happy and do it. I love those stories. I love the story of struggle and then of complete payoff. I feel like I live in that space most of the time, struggle, and I'm always looking for the payoff. It's probably telling you too much about me, but that's why, that's what inspired me, basically, the human story of pursuit and victory. All right. And my last question, and then I think I'm good. I think you get the whole idea of why I'm here. What do you hope to gain from doing this podcast? Well, I'm already regretting doing it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not regretting it, but I'm kind of like, what was I thinking? It's a lot of work. It's not necessarily related to me growing as a visual storyteller, but and that's okay. I'm digressing. I'm excited about this podcast. I'm not regretting it. I'm very excited. I've had some interesting conversation. What I'm hoping to gain from it is inspiration. And I'm hoping to be reminded of why I fell in love with photography and what is special about photography. I'm also hoping to figure out what's next. Like, where is the next frontier? Where's the industry going? What do we want to be in it on the way there? So yeah, I'm hoping to gain some inspiration, some insight. And I'm looking forward to just having these kind of interesting conversations, whatever they are, however they turn out. And I'm excited for you guys to meet these people. I think that they're inspiring and no doubt have done some incredible things in their careers and inspired me. And I think you'll be inspired too. So I hope that I have introduced my podcast, Depth of Field, well enough here. I hope that I've represented who I am enough. I hope that I've given you some insight into why I'm doing this. And I hope that, I've intrigued you enough that maybe you want to listen. And I do want to just say up front that, this is also part of my journey, and I'm making it very public. So I'm learning how to do podcasting here. I'm learning how to kind of interview. And I'm also learning I feel like I knew how to interview, but it was different when I'm behind the camera and I'm I'm working with a subject and I'm asking all these questions because I'm looking for my next photograph. I'm looking for the next moment. In these interviews, I'm really just trying to unpack like what it is we love about photography and what keeps us going. So I hope you'll forgive me in in some of my lack of experience as an interviewer and as a podcaster, but I'm having fun and I'm learning a lot, and I hope you'll join me. Thanks again, everyone, for all your support, all the encouragement. I'm excited to launch Depth of Field. I was strongly discouraged from making this video, but then I was also encouraged by somebody else to make this video. So I'm making this video, and I hope you'll come on this journey with me. Depth of Field podcast. It's going to be awesome, guys. Thanks for coming along. I have been on social media for a long time, and a lot of you have followed me that whole way, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So thank you for that honor, and thanks for that space. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching. And the podcast will be out on wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Check out Depth of Field podcast. Thanks again. Signing off. This is Penny.